We love Utah restaurants, and Utah restaurants love Utah food. We are proud of our agricultural roots throughout Utah, and over the last 10 seasons of Taste Utah, we've brought you to farms all over the state. From a tomato farm in Mona to heirloom beans in Monroe, First Frost Farms in Cache Valley, Gracie's Farm in Wanship, Reneway Gardens, Palm Maz, Mesa Family Farm in Torrey. The list goes on and on. We love tasting Utah through our farmers in Utah restaurants, and the legacy of the St. George Farmers Market, it's no exception. It all begins with the owners of the infamous Painted Pony wanting to support farmers who were growing fresh produce for their restaurant. This week on Taste Utah, we're at the St. George Farmers Market, and we're highlighting two inspiring farm stories. Bishop's Farm in Veyo, a little farm with big ambition, and Living Earth Farm in Hurricane, with a vision of being the biggest little farm they can be. The motivation is clear. It's growing healthy soil, planting seeds, and watching community grow through the love of fresh food and the desire to feed people. Behind every good food story is a great people story. Taste Utah brings you the faces behind our local flavors, from soil and seeds to the variety of our authentically Utah restaurants. The views along the way, they're not bad either. Food is a necessity. It's how we create it, craft it, and experience it together that truly connects Utah's restaurant community. The secret to our sauce is simple. It's our farmers, artisans, chefs, restaurateurs, and hospitality professionals that make Utah a dining destination. You always have a seat at this table. We're down in windy Veyo, Utah. You might ask yourself, where is Veyo? Well, it's north and west of St. George, where it's lands for days, and they are farming the soil down here. We're at Bishop Farm, to be exact. We're gonna go meet Leanna. She and her husband are creating amazing agricultural opportunities for you, your dinner plate, and restaurant chefs alike. How you doing, Leanna?
Good, how are you, Katy?
I'm good. I'm so excited to be here.
Amazing, thank you.
How long have you been farming in Veyo?
So we've been farming for about 2 years in Veyo.
For 2 years?
Yeah. My husband got his graduate degree in Pennsylvania, and we had 5 acres in Pennsylvania.
Wow.
So moving back to Utah, we were originally from Utah, so moving back to Utah, we decided that we wanted to have something that at least had some acreage, and our family is here in southern Utah.
What would you say are some of the biggest misconceptions, or what are your concerns when it comes to actually farming the soil? Because right now, what are you doing? What is this?
So right now I'm weeding this brand new bed.
Okay.
This one has beets in it that are just coming up.
Okay.
They're for our fall crop. Our biggest problem is that our soil doesn't have enough natural things in it. And I know that sounds weird, but it gets crusty when you water it. So you have to add, compost, and
it doesn't have enough flora and fauna, some of like those microbiomes.
Exactly, yep.
So the soil itself isn't quite living, and it's like you have to bring it to life so that you can grow things.
Exactly, we have to regenerate it and help it succeed and help things grow in it.
I mean, it's beautiful. The vistas here are glorious, the red rock, and it's just land for days. But when you look at the land, most people wouldn't say, you know what I want to do? Is I want to farm that land. So for you to take on this challenge is pretty incredible. You're starting small, but you have big dreams.
Yes, we do.
So what's the difference between growing here in this soil and growing in a high tunnel?
So in the high tunnels, we can put up a shade cloth and it stays more humid. We can grow longer throughout the season, so we can start earlier in the spring and go later in the fall. We get colder than St. George, so we're about 20 degrees colder in the winter in St. George.
Okay.
We're close enough to town that we still can help everybody there with food.
This is what's so exciting, because we get to go from possibility into actually what you're growing. Should we head into the high tunnel? You can kind of show me what's going on in there?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, awesome. Lead the way. I mean, this is absolutely beautiful. Tell us what you're growing in here.
So yes, this is lettuce. These are all cucumber plants. They're pickling cucumbers.
Okay.
We have some kale on the outer edges that we just planted for fall.
Oh, nice.
We have tomatoes.
Okay.
And peppers. We have some green onions.
Okay, green onions.
And lots of basil.
And that's the breadth of everything you're growing?
Pretty much, yeah.
So farmer's market, when people frequent your booth, they know they can get amazing, this looks kind of like spring mix, would you say?
Yes, so it's
Okay.
definitely just a mix of lettuce.
Okay.
A lot of it's salanova, and then we also have it's a heat wave.
Is it called heat wave?
Yes.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Luckily today it's not a heat wave, which I'm
No.
very grateful for, but there is wind, so
Yes.
in the high tunnel you're just gonna hear it, right?
Yeah.
What's on the outside of the high tunnel?
So right now we have a 6mm plastic over the high tunnel, and then we have our shade cloth as well.
What does shade cloth do? What is it made out of?
So it's made out of a woven, I think it's vinyl.
Okay.
And it's 50% shade cloth here in southern Utah. So because it's so hot, we have to have a higher percentage. I think most stick with 30, but with us being so hot, we have to do 50.
Helping to educate yourself and your family and the people around you about where your food comes from. For us, you know, a restaurant chef loves fresh produce and they love to know where they can get it. So it's really cool to know the lay of the land that you already have and then what you anticipate.
So we actually want to put 4 more back behind this tunnel.
What feels so exciting is all of the possibility that's here. So you have all of these farm animals. Is there any other reason you would have a farm animal other than to produce some kind of end result? Does it help the ecosystem of the farm?
Yeah, so
Okay.
we actually have chickens and rabbits that we use their manure for compost.
Okay, so you're growing animals not just for some kind of product or something like that, but you're growing them because they actually help sustain the ecosystems on the farm.
So we actually use, I don't know if you can see the tomatoes right here.
Yeah.
We actually use all of the cuttings from these.
Okay.
So you can kind of see that there's a long stem and then there's some with some leaves on it.
Yeah.
All of those leaves we put in our compost.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, and then we have lettuce down here.
Okay.
That we actually need to pull and put in our compost as well.
Okay.
So lettuce you can only cut twice.
Okay.
And then it does kind of what it looks like over here, so you can see the difference between this one and this one.
Yes.
It starts to bolt.
Yeah.
So we pull those and just throw them in our compost.
That's so cool. I mean, when I look at that, that almost looks like a plant you would have growing in your house,
Yeah.
right? That you wouldn't eat.
Exactly, like a tropical.
But when you look at these, they just look delicious. And I would love to try one. Could
Yeah, of course.
I? Okay. The heat wave that's like I'm interested in this heat wave. Which one is it?
So it's these ones. These
Okay.
ones. It's actually a variety. So
Oh,
and
that's
these
so
ones over
cool.
here.
Okay.
So.
What would you recommend?
I like the spotted one.
The spotted one.
Yep.
Okay, so that's like these,
Yes. These
Okay.
ones right here. Perfect.
something like that, and it just like melts off because
Yeah.
it's ready to go, right? And how many cuts have you gotten on this one?
We have not cut these yet.
So this is the first cut.
Yeah.
This is the first taste.
Yep.
I'm so excited. Okay, so I'm gonna give that to you.
Okay.
Now this grosses people out, even farmers, because I'll just eat it.
I will.
But like, I see little bite marks and things like that, which to me indicates that this is a super healthy environment
Yep.
to be growing lettuce, because it means that there's living creatures in here that are also sustaining their life off of these plants. So I'm not even worried
Exactly.
about it a little bit. Okay, cheers.
Cheers.
It's so good. The thing that I love the most is the moisture content.
Yeah.
Because I don't necessarily get that in
No.
something that I buy at the grocery store. So whether I'm pulling a carrot from the ground or a turnip or something like that, it's just the flavor is so bright, but then that water content, like that nourishment, I feel like it goes right in.
Oh yeah.
And it's another reason to support local farmers, to support local agriculture, because you are growing to help people have that same experience,
Yes.
right?
The nutrient value is so much higher. That's our goal.
It's such a sacred space. The farm is so special, and you're doing all of that because you want to nourish and nurture people.
Yes.
And I think it's why chefs love what you do, because they say, I see what you're doing, I honor it, and I want to put my own cool spin on all of the hard work that you're doing. It's why we love restaurants. It's why we love chefs that respect and also appreciate this sacred handoff. I just want to thank you on behalf of Utah for growing food for us, and especially in southern Utah, and hopefully inspiring the next generation of farmer to say, the soil might not seem like the best place, but I know that I can cultivate it, curate it, offer it something so that it can offer more abundance to all of the people around me.
Yeah, well, you're welcome. We enjoy it.
I mean, can I go forage?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
We're in southern Utah, and if you're hearing the sound of roosters, you know what that means on the show. We're at a farm. We're at Living Earth Farms in Hurricane, and we're gonna go meet with John. He's actually growing incredibly delicious, fresh produce down in what some might think was infertile soil, but no, he's changing our minds, and he really wants you to enjoy his farm fresh food. I hear you. Let's go see you. Hi, John.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing well. It is so beautiful down here. I cannot believe the breadth of what you're doing.
Thank you. It's fun.
Give everyone a lay of the landscape, so to speak.
Oh, just trying to learn how to farm.
Trying to learn how to farm. How long have you been doing it?
For about a year and a half now.
Year and a half.
On this scale.
On this scale, I mean, it's pretty amazing. So how many of these structures do you have on property?
So we've got these 3 hoop houses.
Okay.
So almost 10,000 square feet.
So this is kind of like the nuts and bolts, the bones of it.
So it's got 15 frames, trusses that go all along. They're all concreted in the ground. This is a lot of work. This took probably 40, 50 hours just to assemble it.
From there, you're putting what looks just like plastic tarp on it, or?
Yep, it's a double poly plastic. So it's got 2 layers, so it's got an insulation in between.
Okay.
And then it'll have a blower in between, so it gives it super insulation for the heat.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, we put up all this, get it all ready, we'll put the doors on, put the plastic on, we've got some compost, then we'll start the irrigation.
I mean, that's pretty inspiring.
I started this just because I wanted to find healthier food. And so making my own food, I knew it was gonna be super healthy. And so the more healthier the soil is, the more healthy, more bricks levels the food can have. I get all local manure, grass clippings, things like that to create compost here. A couple big windrows over here. And so I've been doing that. So both of these have some compost in there that I created, and then also some that we get locally.
Have you ever farmed or grown anything before, or?
My last name's Garner. It's in our blood. I'm a generation moved from farming in Idaho.
Okay.
I lived on a farm for a year, but no, I really don't know. This is all kind of self-taught.
And are you starting your own plants?
Yeah.
So you're starting them from seed?
Yeah.
Wow. And what kind of irrigation are you doing in your hoop houses? Is it standard? Is it what everyone does? Tell me.
Mostly, yeah. It's just drip tape.
Drip tape.
So it's super economical, really water efficient. So we'll put, like you see these lines over here, we've got 1-inch lines that we'll put in, and then we'll have drip tape that goes all along. So it's all automated, which is great, so we don't have to touch it once it's done.
Should we go see some of the fruits of your labor?
Sure.
Okay, so over to the next hoop house?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
Here we are.
I mean, to go from what we just saw into this is pretty lush.
Yeah. So we've got some different greens. You see some greens here, greens, cucumbers. We've got baby bell peppers, some more greens, cucumbers. These are like pickling cucumbers.
Oh, okay.
Then some more baby bells.
And is there a reason why you chose to do that, or?
Biggest thing I've learned is that if you do everything all in one, you want diversity. So the bugs.
Okay.
So the biggest thing, so kind of like in between the peppers, we have greens growing.
Oh, look at that,
You can see the greens growing in between. So we just try to interplant stuff, just so the pests, things will help counteract each other.
To farm in southern Utah, of all places, Hurricane.
Oh boy, there's a lot of things.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Little Biggest Farm.
Yeah.
That was a huge inspiration for me, just to kind of see what can happen. Had a midlife opportunity where I could do this, and just decided
to go
hey,
for
let's
it.
do this.
I think when people think of southern Utah, we talked about this over at Bishop Farm as well, they don't really think about agriculture, but the soil down here is as good as any, yeah?
Yeah.
And your growth season is longer.
Yeah. If even better. I mean, it's so sandy here that anything will, like the bad stuff will just go through, or the water will just go through. If you have clay, it just sits.
Yeah.
So it's great growing. You put a little bit of compost in here and it's been fantastic.
It's like a natural filter kind of. How long does it take to go from a starter to something like this?
So these greens, I don't know if you can see any, some of them didn't last or we pulled the whole head and so they're kind of interspersed. But like these peppers, these are probably 4 months in the works just to get to this. Where the greens, these are a month and a half.
How long off are you from seeing plants? Oh, there are some in there.
Yeah.
They're just hidden.
Yeah,
oh,
these are the smaller ones. So
pretty
yeah,
good. Okay.
They're ready to go.
Awesome. So you're just, so these are cucumbers. Can I share one of these?
Of course, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm like, okay. All right. It's just, tastes like a cucumber. Wow, that's so good. Mmm. Yum. What do you take to farmer's market every week?
Anything and everything. So anything that's ripe and ready, we take. So last week we had probably 120 pounds of cucumbers, probably about 80, 90 pounds of tomatoes, whatever's ready.
And you're even bringing in your own bees, or some bees, right?
Yep, we've got boxes. There's a couple boxes right up there, and then a couple boxes over here.
That's incredible. And I'm seeing this little buddy right here just on this flower, probably pollinating it. It really is so special.
Yeah.
And then I heard chickens on the other side of the farm. Are those chickens for eggs, meat, or just for farm?
For eggs.
For eggs.
For eggs, and they're my workers too. I give them food scraps, everything that I can't sell or goes bad or whatever, they get. So they're taking that, they're wasting on it, and so I move that from pile to pile, and then at the end, get the tractor, bring it in, and that's full of good organic nutrients. Then I put it over here in the compost to really help supercharge the whole process.
I mean, that's the thing about a farm, right? Nothing goes to waste, and you need the decomposition to then create life. So even if there are plants that aren't necessarily yielding edible product, you can always use that for growing the next year's crop.
Yep, everything that's bad they get, so they'll eat it all. They're the feathered pigs.
All right, so tell me what a harvest looks like.
With tomatoes, they need to be ripe. If it's anything else like cucumbers, we pull everything off. Even if it's these small ones, people love, this is a week.
Wow.
These are 1 week. We've pulled everything off.
It's like a massive cucumber.
Yeah.
What do you feel like is the difference in taste and even like nutrient level of the food that you're growing now versus before you started growing and were inspired to grow food?
The nutrient levels, when it's transported, it gets lost.
Yeah.
Plus, as well, it just feels better. So it's fun to go to the market and have people run up there and be like, oh, I gotta get some, hurry before they're all gone, or those were so good last week, or do you have any of this or that? So they know.
Yeah.
It's fresh, it's here, it's local.
3 to 5 years, what do you want this space to look like? What do you want the farm to look like?
I don't have any huge aspirations. I would love to have, 200 acres and like the biggest little farm. I mean, they're 200 acres and it's just a beautiful organic farm. I've gone there and it's kind of like going to Jerusalem. It was a really cool experience for me. So I want others to feel that. I want this to be a place where people can come see their food, feel their food. I want to grow food here. We need more.
John, just thank you so much. Again, I cannot tell you how phenomenal it is to recognize you for everything that you're doing. It really is such a special place down here and so unexpected.
Yeah, thanks. It's fun.
Okay, let's go forage.
Okay.
The story of farming in southern Utah is almost miraculous. Landscapes that are breathtaking, but soil that seems barren. Until you find someone willing to put a little love and effort into nourishing it. Those are the inspiring farm stories we've been sharing, but what happens next is equally as inspiring. Like any good food, it starts with the soil and seed and takes the cultivation of people willing to do the work to create community. And that's exactly what you'll find at St. George's Farmers Market, where restaurant chefs and locals are supplied with fresh produce created with care to fuel their ingredient-driven menus. I've just come from these 2 really inspiring farms. Why the farmers market in St. George?
When I took it over 6 years ago, I was, you know, a mom of my first kid. I didn't know anybody down here. And I was like, well, I want to get to know these guys. I really want to get invested, figure out why we're promoting this. And so I started going out and interviewing these farmers, and I was just blown away. I was like, there's some incredible stuff happening here that nobody knows about. And through the farmers market, I was able to build all of my inner circle, my community. So I am super passionate about that space just because it supports these farmers. Like, and it doesn't matter your ethnicity, it doesn't matter your income bracket, you can come and meet locals and bond over what's being made down here.
What kind of booths are at the farmers market?
So we have an array. We have been so happy to see so many farmers coming back in like full force. I think we have like 15 to 18 farmers, and we have homemade bakeries, artisans, all art, jewelry, everything in between coming to the market and making it just feel like a one-stop shop.
So every week at the farmers market, you know, like when we look up and look around, you know, you see the head chef from Wood Ash Rye down there buying armfuls of greens.
Yes, and selling biscuits.
Yeah, and selling biscuits. They've come a few times and they've popped up, and it's been so cool. And when they popped up, they were like, we're gonna get the microgreens here, we're gonna get these here, we're gonna do this here, we're gonna get carrots from here. So to see these people that are being recognized on a state level and a national level cooking with what's being grown here, I just think that that speaks to the quality in and of itself, and like how amazing it is what people can produce with nothing. You know, you shouldn't be able to grow stuff here, but you can.
I mean, this has just been such an incredible day, just such a wonderful learning experience. Just thank you so much for what you're doing and for showing us what a little gumption and grit can create.
Thank you for recognizing it and seeing the value.